Step in, lean in, mic on, and begin. Hey! Been quiet too long, chewed up tongue. Turn down songs, clock keeps ticking on the wall. But your name's still missing from the roll call. Let your voice be heard, say every single word. From the low notes to the sky, throw hands up high. Let your voice be heard, loud, clear, undeterred. Got a light, buddy?
Yeah, sure, kid. There you go.
And your wallet.
Nick, give him your wallet.
If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you, yeah. Oh, yeah. You got a truth tucked deep in your chest. Heartbeat tapping out, say it, confess. Crowd might stare, let them do what they do. They never held a fire living in you. Let your voice be heard. Say every single word. From the low notes to the sky. Throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard, loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you, yeah. Speak up, name your dream out loud. Stand up, you're the leader of this crowd. One spark, one shout, watch the silence melt. Power in your mouth is the truest thing you felt. Your voice be heard. Say every single word. From the low notes to the sky. Throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard. Loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you.
Yes. Let your voice be heard. Welcome. Again, this is Let Your Voice Be Heard Talk Radio. My name is Floyd Holmes. I am a CEO and visionary of Man Up Ministry, Inc. I'm also the host of Let Your Voice Be Heard Talk Radio. We welcome everyone here tonight. This night has been awesome. We've had awesome guests, and we have a super duper amazing lady here tonight. Her story is awesome, and things that she does are second to none. When I first heard her story, I was a little confused because I'll be honest, Sharee, I was, because I was trying to find out what was different, because we have women. I know about women advocacies and women who want to help women, and and so it falls into a niche of let's see, people say, oh well, we want to help this group, or we want to help this group, or we want to. I've heard these advocacies, but yours is different. Yours felt different. I said, I never heard that before. Maybe because I just ain't paying attention. I don't know, but I I have never heard that story before. You actually focus. It's a target audience, a target that a group of people that you are interested in, not just helping but progressing in what they do. I thought, and I'll be honest with you. I thought at one time, this is he trying to help some people that is too late for help. You understand? Because I'm saying, well, now just to get the audience caught up. Her target is women who are, mid-career women, and the fact and idea of the the undervalue, I would say, of them in the workplace, in corporate. These are the women she's targeting. These are corporate people that you're talking about that have worked their way to where they are. However, may not be able to go any further, however, deserve to be at the top. Something that you said to me, not to me, but to the group last time that stuck with me. And I said, wow, thought about that. Is that positive and excellent production does not equal promotion.
Right.
Wow. So I'm working hard. I'm trying to get, I'm working hard and I'm trying to do everything that's right. And my work is excellent. I fit all the criterias and I fit everything that Jimmy doesn't have. But I'm here and he's here. Wow. I'm gonna let you have the floor. And I know there's much, much more to your story than that, but that is that's in itself. Let me say this before I do that, because I'm not sure. Do you have a book? I mean, you're a co-author of a book. Is that right? A season of possibilities?
It was, a while back. That was a book that a friend of mine did from her podcast, and I had been a guest on the podcast, and so I had a chapter in the book.
Okay. I because I want to promote it, and we want to, but with your story, I want to make sure that I want to get a copy automatically, but I want to make sure that the panel knows what's available in the house, available, and if it's your book, and after they hear your story, I'm sure they want to hear more. So I'm gonna give you the floor now, Miss Sharee Wells. Welcome to Let Your Voice
Hi,
Be Heard,
everybody.
Talk Radio.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me back again. I appreciate it. For those of you who were here before, you already know my story, but bear with me for a moment while I tell it for people that perhaps were not. My first career was in elder and adult long-term care advocacy for 2 states. The position was called the Eastern Oklahoma Development District Area Agency on Aging Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program Supervisor and Senior Advocacy Coordinator. Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It didn't even fit, of course, on my business card, so they shortened it to the EODD AAA Ombudsman, which still didn't mean anything to anybody. But an ombudsman is an advocate or a mediator for people who may have complaints or problems with an agency or an organization. The word is Scandinavian. And in the U.S., as part of the Older Americans Act programs, some funding was set aside to give to the state, and those states would then put a program in place to help families and residents of nursing homes to handle their complaints in those facilities. So that is what I set out to set up for my little corner of Oklahoma. There, I was initially introduced to mediation and negotiation principles, and I took some courses by the Harvard Negotiation Project, as it was known at the time. I worked 11 years as that long-term care ombudsman, investigating and mediating residents' complaints in nursing homes, assisted living, and other long-term care facilities, and trained volunteer advocates to do it for specific homes. I had a district of 7 counties, but I would train volunteers for particular homes. It was really rewarding for me to be a part of grassroots efforts to pass the Oklahoma Room and Board Home Care Act of 1984. It's now the Oklahoma Residential Care Act. And what it did was it regulated a segment of the care industry that had been unregulated for years And people took money from people to provide care for them, but they didn't provide the care. It wasn't nursing home care. It was care for them to live, have laundry services, meal services, live in a clean place, and that sort of thing. But what we found when we went out to check on some of these places that were people living in chicken coops and barns and sheds and that sort of thing, and the money was, rolling in, but the care was not going out. So that work was so exciting to me to be a part of the process that could actually get a law passed that would make a big systemic change for people. And at that moment, my advocate's heart went, oh, I want to change care system. So when the opportunity knocked, in Oklahoma at that time, Medicaid, which is the state and federal mix of money that pays for health care for poor people in the U.S. It's got different names in different states, but it's Medicaid. It would only care for the care of poor elders and adults with disabilities if they lived in a nursing home, whether they needed to be in a nursing home or not. They could only get money to pay for their care if they went to a nursing home. So people were going into nursing homes way before they had to. And we discovered through some research that if you would do a Medicaid waiver in your state, Medicaid would then pay for care in people's homes instead of in their nursing homes. But you had to jump through all these hoops. So we worked on developing that, and my part of that, developing that system, was to create a single tool for replacing all of the many, many forms from the 7 state agencies and all their various 25 or more programs. People would have to go and fill out different forms for every single program that they needed to be part of in order to get care in their home. And then forms for their care plan, and then forms for their eligibility, and then forms for the monitoring of the care plan and the changes and updates. So we thought that was too much for frail elders and adults with disabilities. And we worked together to negotiate the changes, getting 7 state agencies to agree on anything, much less forms, was quite a job for me. But eventually we were able to get the fact through to people that they were all collecting the same information. They just had their own look and feel of the forms and the order in which they connected it. So when we all got on the same page, we were able to really quickly come up with that form, and it's still in use today with, of course, updates. So I felt like my, heart for advocacy had been fed. And when my husband and our partner were talking about our partner leaving the company because his wife had been transferred to another state and he wanted to go with her, I had just done the boring part of sitting on the board. I hadn't worked in the company, but it was a career advising company. And the guy said, Sharee, haven't you worked for the state long enough? Isn't it time for you to come to work for us? So I did. And I love the work. I found out that advocacy was not just about me and working on ways to help old people, but it was also a way for me to help people do for themselves in their careers. People who either didn't know how to find a job, change industries, um, advance in their positions, or, um, create their own sort of job, either become an entrepreneur or have a company create a position for them. So I thought, oh, that's advocacy. That requires me to negotiate and encourage and do all of the things that I love to do. So I joined the company, and 30 years later, I'm still there. My husband was 17 years older than me. And about 7 years ago, he got dementia, and I cared for him until his death uh, several months ago. I took a work break to adjust my life and goals and, um, come to a place where it was okay to be just me, because we've been married for 37 years. And while I was reading, I was even deciding whether I was going to continue coaching and being a career strategist at all. But I read statistics for a very old issue showing that change was still needed for women in the workplace in general, but specifically for mid-career women who wanted to move into leadership roles, but were not being allowed due to age and gender bias. So I said, oh, no, that can't happen. That can't be. So I stepped back into work with that particular goal in mind. And so I have refocused my efforts to address that issue.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot. It's a lot. That's a lot. I want to know at what point, because you went through a lot of stuff. At what point you kept saying that was an advocacy. At what point did you know, or did you have the desire to advocate on any issues? Because you just pop up and say, I'm an advocate. I'm just going to advocate on this stuff. There's something that happened somewhere to say, well, this needs attention, and I'm the one to do it. So take me there, and we get us back to where you're at.
It's a ways back. I have always been an encourager. It's one of my spiritual gifts, the primary one. So I like to help people. Mm-hmm. My mom had brought us up to take cookies to the elderly in nursing homes and read stories and that sort of thing. But when I was 20, my dad died. And so I had to go to work. And so I quit school and went to work. And the position that I got was in a nursing home. And that's where it occurred to me, as the activities director, I was seeing all kinds of things in the nursing home that were violations of the residents' rights. But I didn't know there was anything you could do about that. And so I was kind of whining about it to my neighbor. And my neighbor said, oh, we're starting a program at our agency. That was the Eastern Oklahoma Development District Area Agency on Aging. She said, come and interview for the position. So I did, and I got the job. And when I got that job, when I got that work, and I started working with helping people to help themselves or fighting for the rights of people who couldn't fight for their own rights, it was like I came home. It was just, it was a gift to me because otherwise I had been one of those girls. I was going to sing opera and I was going to do this and I was going to, be a child psychologist and yeah. No, I wasn't. I was going to be an advocate.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really good. I know because I know it didn't just happen. Yeah, I'm going to help though. No, no. See, I am a firm believer in that we have plans, but God has purpose. So
Hmm.
what we do in those aspects would be our purpose, and our plans may fail, but our purpose is not going to fail. It's going to come. It's going to go through. You're going to do what your purpose is. That's my belief. But anyway, before we go into the advocacy of the mid-career women, because that's really deep, and I really love that. I see there's a lot of hands up here, and there's hands up, and I think hands went up as you were speaking certain issues. So I'm going to allow two of these people to, well, there's three of them now, but I'm going to do that, and then we're going to go into the what you're doing now and how you and what effect you're having on that. Um, Let me see, Danielle, you had your hand up.
Well,
Yeah.
hi, Sharee. I want to say thank you as a person, as a social worker, what you've done. I was in that grassroots of watching the paperwork like that. And that, yeah. And I was an activity director, so we're speaking the same language here.
Teacher's pet.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
teacher pet.
I love you already.
So, first of all, I want to also say sorry about the loss of your husband. And
Yes.
thank you for being the Osbundsman that you're still portraying, still going on. But you might be answering this in the near future here. But I wanted to ask, what pillars do you use to help the midlife women to help bring their voice when they find they were marginalized? Especially corporate women are finding themselves because that age bias, like you said, the marginalization, and maybe even the BIPOC community itself, because we were never leaders. We were the caregivers of fixing up everybody's problems in those roles because we had these unlabeled titles that keep us stuck. And when you're talking to these women who are redefining their lives, because just like you, becoming widows or divorcees late in life, they're still carrying and they're trying to still thrive. They can't think about retirement. They think that they've ended it. So what pillars do you pull from that you help support them with?
The first one is positioning. Women don't always know how to position themselves in an organization, how to talk about what they do, how to put themselves in front of the people to get them to the next level. And there is nothing in most companies to generate that. There are lots of mentorships for the guys. And guys, I'm not putting you down, fellas. It's just not a balanced system. There are not mentorships that bring you to the right people, that help you develop your network, that help you speak to the people that you need to speak to, that need to become familiar with what it is you do before they go handing you another person younger and less experienced than you so that you can train them to be your boss. So positioning is one thing that is very important, and finding that special thing that you do that people need, that thing that they come to you and they ask you, do this, or can you help us with that? Or this project is going on and they're stuck. Come and help us get them unstuck. That thing you do, that thing that people ask you for, that needs to be what you, I guess, roll in front of them all of the time until they become familiar with it, because otherwise they're oblivious to the fact that they're asking you for that thing. They are just asking you to fix a problem, So we're seen as problem solvers and we're seen as nurturers and those sorts of things. If you can put yourself in front of people as the person with expertise in the thing that they want, then you have an opportunity to move up and make it measurable. Measuring what you do, giving the numbers, giving the dollars that you saved or the dollars that you brought in, because frankly, if you saved the money, you made the money. If you can talk to them in the language that they speak, which is, and this men and women in the thing, I think Karen and I had this discussion last time where she's been in a position of having to turn down women for positions because they just weren't ready to go there. They hadn't positioned themselves and they couldn't say why they needed to be the person that was hired. So, and then of course, visibility is key. And I think that was the topic for today, too, was visibility. So those would be the things to do. Negotiation, those skills are critical. And I am just of the opinion that negotiation isn't just a salary conversation. Negotiation is a life skill. And we do it every day.
Good. Do you think that there's some pushback when they can't seem to find that voice, even though they have all these available? Do you encourage them to take themselves where they are valued and encourage them to market themselves to other places and not stay put because that familiarity and that safety can be another blockage?
Yeah. Here's my complete and total philosophy on self-advocacy. Nobody cares about your career like you do. Not another person on this earth. And so they are not going to step up and make sure you get where you're going or where you want to go, because it's not on their radar. It's not even on their burner, on their stove. It's on the burner of a stranger's house 20 miles away, and it's on the back burner. So what you have to do is bring your thing to the front burner and turn the heat up and let them know that it is there and available.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that,
Thank
Sharee.
you.
I hope that answers your question, Danielle.
Thanks for asking, Danielle.
I see. I'm gonna get to you, Tony. I think Karen has her hand up. Her question is geared around what you are speaking on. So go ahead, Karen.
Okay.
Hello, my friend.
Yes. Hello. And as a leader, this is what I see a lot of, and it kind of breaks my heart. If you look at the job descriptions, when we're talking about negotiation in a position, when you look at a job description, like I have a person that is my assistant, and the job description is so vague, it's so gray. It says the regular skill set, but in addition to that, it says job duties as needed.
Other duties as assigned. Right?
So what happens is, if you're a leader and you have a person that is great and does all these things and they don't know to negotiate for, hey, I'm doing this, and this, they can be taken advantage of. I always encourage staff, anyone that's on my team, I want your success is my success. I want you to be the best you can be of what you want to be. So if you want to go into leadership if you want to, because I'm going to retire again, and I say, I want you to be able to take my position because they're already doing the job, right? But so many times with these job descriptions, they say just job duties as needed. So you can have a person potentially doing a CEO position or doing the CNO position because they're already doing the job, but they're not getting the recognition for it. They're not getting the pay for it. So either they have to have a voice and negotiate for a position, or like Danielle said, if they're not going to be valued, I would think they would need to go to another company so that they can get the value because they just have a very vague job description. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree. There is not a company that is going to be loyal to you or appreciate your loyalty to it. It's a company. It is not a person. It cannot have loyalty.
Right.
And companies like to talk about themselves as though they are a family and they're going to be loyal to you. And that's
that's what my job says. My job says when you come to work, I don't want to say the name of the company, but they'll say, "We are a family. Welcome to the family." I'm like, right. But I say it
no, you are not my family.
Hey, listen, ladies, listen to me. I hear you and I feel you, but doesn't some of this stuff happen to men? What you're explaining?
That's not what her platform is. I got
that. I got that. I'm just sitting there saying, well, you crying about some stuff that's happening.
Well, you guys have had it for years. Let us have our moment.
Go ahead, have your moment.
Okay.
Well, and Floyd, for real,
yes,
there are people who are introverts.
Yes,
and they feel like promoting themselves is bragging or making them seem greedy or is somehow wrong. What they're not seeing is that those people who are getting ahead are the people who are promoting themselves. And you can do it in a way that's comfortable for your personality and for your characteristic. You don't have to suddenly become a big extrovert and go out hobnobbing, at everything. But you do have to network. So you have to learn ways to network as an introvert that will help you meet the people that you need to know in order to get ahead. It doesn't matter who you are. It's just that this is my tribe.
Yes. And I respect that. And I agree with you on that wholeheartedly. Like I said, when you first came on here, I was like, another one of these women advocates.
I know.
But yeah, I've totally changed my whole perspective of that because I never heard that what your target is. And I looked at it and I said, wow, that's deep, because I do know that there are women that are in positions that cannot go any higher, even though that the one that's in the highest position is not qualified to be there, as much as this woman has worked her way there.
Are holding that person up.
I got you. Yeah. I got you on that. I'm with you. I feel that you are totally, absolutely correct. And I had to be careful because I can go to a lot of different places and say, well, what about this one? And what about that one? But as Karen just brought up and said, that's not your platform. Your platform is these people that I see and I just said, forgive me, because I just said it's purpose. Your purpose is to help these people. They need help for real. And this is not something that has just started. Right. This has been going on.
Story.
And it'll continue to go on if no one addresses it or brings it to the forefront. So yes, I agree with you.
This has to do with not just men, but different ethnic groups,
Yes.
different religions, different cultures. It has to do with all manner of people where bias exists. And age is a huge one in the workplace.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I see. I see two more hands up. Tony Curtis, TC, come on.
hey,
Hey, there you
Tony.
are. There you are. What's up, Tony?
Hello. Hello.
Always good to see you.
Always good to be seen. Okay, so my industry is changing, right? So our advocacy initiatives have begun to give momentum to insurance payments. And unfortunately, there's been a fast track of training to make enough workforce available. And for those of us that have had a career doing this, we've been able to create careers.
Yes.
And so now we have organizations, hospitals, all of that coming in and redoing the position and undercutting them in pay. And they're so excited to be working that our advocacy initiative, it's like we have all this momentum to finally get them paid with them not realizing their value or their worth. What would you say to that, or how to motivate or change the system as we're trying to get them to not completely derail what was built, as well as not realize that they're reducing their own value?
Systemic change requires a whole lot of research and a whole lot of education. When we were working with the Medicaid waiver in Oklahoma, the group that eventually hired me did so because they needed basically an editor, writer for the material that they were trying to get out to the legislature. And the legislature was apparently not paying any attention to them. And they finally said to me in my interview, "Oh, Sharee, we've written a 75-page white paper for them, and we got nothing back from that." And I said, "You didn't give them a one sheet with bullets on it, you know." These are legislators. They're not researchers. They don't want to read all the little details of. And one of the sentences in that 75-page white paper was 3 pages long. It was written by a person with a doctorate, and so they had all of the words and that sort of thing, but they never put a period anywhere. There's a bunch of semicolons and colons and dashes, and well, I said, no, this alone could be 1 page of bullets, but you have to make it clear to people your message, the thing. You have to tell them the thing and not tell them a bunch of willy-nilly things that will not help them to clarify in their mind what it is you want. So for changing of the system, it's public education, and it's all the research you need to back that up. You need those numbers and statistics and that sort of thing. Otherwise, they're not going to listen to you. I don't think really Floyd, until he heard the statistics that I gave, was thinking that this was anything to talk about. But when I said to him that the companies that have at least 30% of women in their executive ranks make 12 times or 12 times more likely to rank in the top 20% of financial performance than anybody else, it was like, oh yes, I get it.
Right.
Yeah, am I lying, Cloyd?
No, that's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, that's correct. I
So is
right.
that answering your question, Tony, or am I off on a tangent?
Oh no, it did. But the statistic that actually stands to what's happening now, they're not going to want to hear because it makes them accountable.
Right. Right. Okay.
Right.
So you have to come up with some strategic way to word that thing so that they come to that conclusion themselves.
Right. We're working on that. But it's kind of hard when it was a legislative move to remove it because then it's I got to be accountable, right? And then it's the
Right.
undereducation of the new workforce that doesn't understand the historical context to even be able to stand up for themselves.
Right. And you just can't say, okay, everybody out there, we want you to watch Called Midwives.
So
Right.
let me ask this question because I'm sitting there saying, well, Tony, you're saying that the new era work they don't know their worth. They so happy to have a job. Okay, beautiful. Ooh, I got a job. Whatever they pay, they'll ask, what is the pay? Whatever it is. So they won't even ask. So wait till they get their pay.
They'll accept it because it's more than they could make having a job at their skill level.
Okay, that's good. But now, with what Sharee's talking about, what she's talking about, and what she's advocating, how will it ever change? If this force is working against this force and not together, or you can't get some of these people to see. Listen, we need more Let Your Voice Be Heard talk radio because we need more people to hear this stuff. Because how else are we gonna fix this? Because it's been going on for years and it don't look like it's getting better.
So one of the things is that she talks about the statistics, right? So they do a manipulation with the statistics. They'll say Black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth, right? When the statistic is they're 5 times more likely because white women by themselves are 2 times more likely to die in childbirth than other first world countries. So they say it in a way that makes you go, oh, this is a minority issue. No, everybody is suffering. And so doulas have the statistic of being able to increase vaginal delivery, satisfaction, more safe, more breastfeeding initiation, overall improvement of health. So let's create the program where we'll fund it, but now we're going to take the trainings and regulate it by bodies that caused the maternal health crisis in the first place and removed Black midwifery in this country, period.
Okay. That's that. Now you broke that down real good. You broke it down. That's real good. Now, that's good. That's real good. I'm still trying to figure out what Sharee, her platform here tonight is these women, mid-career women in corporate positions that are have worked their way to a certain level, right? And even if a man in that company has worked to that same level, you can look, if you say, well, he gets paid more or he doesn't get paid more. However, there's different perks for him than it is for her. There's a difference in everything. How do we change that? How do we get women to understand this is happening to them? Because Karen just explained that, even her as a woman in leadership, that she will say, well, you know what? This job is a woman. We got supposed to hire a woman for a woman is applying for this job and she is qualified. However, she can't lift them boxes over there, so I can't hire her because that's part of the job description. So a woman can't do certain things. So she can't go but so high in doing certain things. How do we change that? How do we even chip away at it a little bit?
You just said it. There's nothing a woman can't do.
You
used the word can't. And the only can't that exists is a mentality that limits what you're willing to do. It's not a can or can't. It's a mindset. However, the things that women can do that men can't is what they're being measured by. That's
Okay.
restricting their movement.
Okay. This
Yeah.
you're correct. You are correct. I'm not arguing with anybody.
I'm with you.
I'm saying this, Sharee. I'm saying this, Sharee, because this is your target. How this exists. What you're talking about is real. It exists.
Yes.
How do we attack that? Because I'm in. I'm in. How do we attack
I know
that?
you are.
How do we get at that? Because we have to get the word out. Where do we start?
The issue of starting as a whole is that you can't just throw it all out there and expect it to stick. If I throw out my work with the mid-career women, that is not necessarily going to stick with Tony's doulas not recognizing their value. I can talk about women need to recognize their value. I can talk about it and talk about it. It needs to be talked about. But how do they recognize their value? It's different for different industries, different women.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I continue to work with individuals so that I can help them to develop particular strategies for themselves to make them better self-advocates, better negotiators for themselves, better aware of their value for themselves until that message expands to the generalities that are necessary for it to be a giant message to the world at large.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be heard as well until there are women that are in the position, making the moves and doing what
That's
they
right.
need to do. You can actually hear it now if you listen to the women who are the CEOs and that sort of thing and how they got there and what they did to
Each
get
one.
there. You can
Each one.
hear it.
Each one teach one, each one reach one.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I see Leah Amore. I see your hand up.
Hi, Leah. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. I've been enjoying the convo. I was thinking a little bit about self-advocacy, what you were saying earlier, and how do you go from being an assistant to, I don't know, maybe asking for equity or something? Because I know I've been assisting CEOs for maybe like 5 years or so, and it's different things that they have me do. But I am known as the like idea person or the networking person. And sometimes I'm very certain that they're using my ideas and getting the bottom line done. And I'm not seeing anything. So I'm like, how do I go from, I don't know if I, like, as far as advocating for myself, I've tried it, but it's still kind of like, they take it as their idea, because it's a good idea. But I'm just like, okay, well, it was my idea, but I'm not the CEO, so.
A couple of things.
Wow.
One, those administrative assistants are often the people who are actually running the company so that the figurehead can go out there and do what they do in public. So there is value in that, making them able to be out there doing what they do. Another thing, do you participate in the meetings?
It depends, because when I was in a startup, yes, I did have to participate in the meetings. But it's kind of funny because even after leaving the company, the CEO would still share things with me and ask me, oh, if you're going to this event anyway, can you get an email for me? Like that, like favors. And I'm just like, I don't even work for you anymore. Like, what am I getting out of this?
Okay. Document, document, document. This is not a conversation anymore unless it is by text or email. Okay? Just stop that chit-chatting for fun and grin. It's a text or it's an email so that you have your information and you keep records of what you do for the company. Then you take what you do for the company and you can talk to at least the three people directly in line over you. Those three people need to hear from you regularly what it is that you have done. I did this. Joe and I were talking the other day, and he asked about this, and I suggested that. And it appears to me that you all are doing something about that. How can I help? Those sorts of things are the things that are going to have you be seen, have them understand what it is that you're doing, and help you to position yourself for a little growth. If any of you want to put your email in the chat, I have a free resource that is called the Invisible Woman Fix. And it will give you 5 steps that you can do to help bring yourself in front of people. And one of the things in that is actually speaking up in meetings. Make sure that within the first 15 minutes of a meeting, you say something that is of value to that meeting. And the first couple of times that's going to feel real uncomfortable. But if you frame it in a way that you are saying, when I worked for XYZ, I suggested they do this, and this was the result, the measurable result. They want to hear where was the money in this? Where did it land? Money-wise, make me money, save me money. What was it? Get me better ratings, customer satisfaction ratings, those sorts of things. When they can see those improvements measured in numbers, they will be able to hear you. And that's both men and women. When you get up there at a high level, details are no longer really your thing. You need the big picture. So you want to just give them the small, skinny that shows how it was measurable. And I believe that if we did this and that to sort of build something that we can replicate in our company, we can probably generate similar numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're listening to you. Now they're hearing you. If you do that a few times, pretty soon, it won't be just the person that you are assisting who comes to ask you for things. It will be other people asking you for your opinions and your recommendations and your networking contacts and that sort of thing.
Listen. Man, this is again, I'm getting all kind of therapy here tonight. This has been awesome, man. This has been awesome. Let me say that Sharee will be here. I think we have a few more shows. We have a couple more shows.
Yeah.
She'll be here for the next couple of Fridays at 8:00. Sharee will be on here. So if you have man, ladies, I see you ladies have a lot of questions, and this is valuable stuff, not just to you, but to all of us. And there's a lot of stuff in here. I see everybody's put in their email addresses. So you got Sharee, you got a lot of work. Let your voice be heard.
Yes, Cloyd, when we are done with this,
Yes.
do you get the chat?
Yes,
Can
I
you
can.
send me the chat so I can have all of the email addresses?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will
Thank
definitely
you.
do that. Before we go, I want to say we have a lot of let your voice be heard superstars on this platform right now. There's stars on here for Let Your Voice Be Heard. One of them is Cody Arvison, and she says if she's a life coach, and she says if you don't put it in writing, your work record and ideas don't exist. Absolutely, Sharee is 100% telling you this is important. She has job hack on
I
there.
learned that in the nursing home.
Yes.
Working in the medical field, and then there are several people in the medical field here. If it isn't charted, it didn't happen. Never happened.
Wow. Wow. So this is valuable stuff. This is really stuff that I'm sitting there. I'm like, wow, this is, and like I said, and Sheree knows when I first met her, she was telling me a story. I was like, well, okay, well, what's this going to do to you? Another one of these women rights groups or something. But it's much, much more than that. It's much more than that, and this is touching more than just women. This has to do with as Tony Curtis says, this has to do with everyone, with everyone. This touches everybody, and this is very important. I want to thank my panel tonight. Let Your Voice Be Heard panel. You guys are awesome. I love all of you. Sheree, you are now officially family. We will be seeing a lot more of you, and we love you, and we thank you for being here with us, and we can't wait and looking forward to next week. This your boy now.
Step in, lean in, mic on, and begin. Been quiet too long, chewed up tongue. Turn down songs, clock keeps ticking on the wall. But your name's still missing from the roll call. Let your voice be heard, say every single word. From the low notes to the sky, throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard, loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you. Got a truth tucked deep in your chest. Heartbeat tapping out, say it, confess. Crowd might stare, let them do what they do. They never held a fire living in you. Let your voice be heard. Say every single word. From the low notes to the sky. Throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard. Loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you. Dream out loud. Stand up, you're the leader of this crowd. One spark, one shout. Watch the silence melt. That power in your mouth is the truest thing you felt. Oh, let your voice be heard. Say every single word. From the low notes to the sky. Throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard. Loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you. Yeah, that's you. That's you. Go. Step in, lean in, mic off. Never again.
This your boy now.